Thank you. Okay, welcome to the big picture. We just finished up week number 3. We're in the home stretch, and I'm sad to see it coming to a close. But I'm super excited that you're all here and that you got to experience it and do it and learn about visions. And I hope you're learning a lot, because even though we're doing this program for 30 days, it's something that you can always do. Of course, you could take the program again. You could do it with team members. It's a great thing to be able to do with your teams and help people that really want to grow a vision. But it also, the helpful thing is you sort of get it now, you understand what to do. And I want to talk about a couple of things. And first, I'm going to share my screen because I want to talk about, see, this is the one I want to share. Okay, do you guys see my growth U? Is that what you see? Okay, so Rod had a great message today. He talked about career, and so I love how it's broken down, each week in visions. And so he's talking about our career here. But what I wanted to show you really is in your Growth U page, you can do your own kind of vision board. And I want you guys to see what I've done here. I put some images up, and this one's an image of friends getting together, having fun, having coffee. And that's something that I've always longed to do, is just meet with friends that are like-minded, that are fun, just kind of, getting together. Here's a picture of me and my girlfriend Laura when we ran an ultra marathon in the Grand Canyon, and then we went hiking, and this was in Arches, and it was just a cool picture, and it reminds me of that I want to go places and I want to do things. So these are some things you can do. Because you are a Growth U member now, you can get in there and do some pictures. This one I love. This is the author of Harry Potter, and it reminds me that I am writing a book and that I'm going to be at a book signing. And, so those are things that I want to see every time I kind of come in to my page here and do my program. So I hope you guys know that even when you're done with your big picture program, there is the daily program. So if you don't know about it, let us know. We'll explain to you how to do it, but it's free and you can always do it. So I love it because it keeps you logging in every single day, so you're in that habit, and then when you want to do another program, you're able to just do that. So you're part of the Growth U community. So a couple things. I'm going to keep sharing my screen for a minute. One of the things that we've done here in our program every day is meditation. And I think it's so important doing meditation, because it might seem like kind of a weird thing to do, like meditating. Honestly, you guys, I meditate even before I get out of bed in the morning sometimes. My house can be a little crazy. I have, still kids that are teenagers going off to work, going off to school, the dogs, we have a farm. So I like to kind of do some deep breathing, before I just jump out of bed for the day. And what I do is I sort of envision what I'm accomplishing. So those are the things, kind of my to-do list. But then I kind of like to dream a little bit and sort of put myself in that place of what is my vision. So when you get to this part of the program for the meditation, I found personally that if I'm sitting at my desk and there's a lot of stuff going on, it's hard to sit here and close my eyes and meditate, right? So make meditation kind of part of what you do daily, and find a time to do it. Don't do it when you're driving somewhere, because closing your eyes, and that's just not a good time to be meditating. But do it when it's good and comfortable for you. So I love that it includes this, because one of the things I do, so you can call it meditation, you can call it visualizing, but you kind of just really clear your mind of everything and think about what are your priorities, either what you want to get done or what you want to be, where you're going. So this is something that I absolutely love, that you really need to stick with, and it might not be when you're sitting in front of your computer doing this program. One of the things, I was talking about this the other day, I'm visual, and so when I am training to run a marathon, and then I get to the race, and Andrea, maybe you might be totally different than me, but what I like to do is when I get to the race, I want to drive that course, because some of my friends don't want to see it. They want to be blindsided. They don't want to know anything to do with it. And of course, if it's a trail, you're not going to be able to drive the course, and you're not going to go out there and, check it out. But if it's a race that you can drive, I like to do it. And what it does for me is, if I have a mental picture of what is coming up, it seems easier for me. So when I translate that into my vision, which actually hasn't even happened yet, but if I'm playing it over in my head, what I want to do, what I want to be. So maybe just say if you're in Isagenix, right? And your goal is to be a six-figure income earner and walk across the stage with the six-figure income earners, then visualize yourself going backstage and, being with these people and getting your plaque, and then what it would be like, and actually roll that movie in your head of you doing it. So this is part of what you might do when you call it meditation, right? Is visualizing exactly what you want to do. And I know that when I'm visualizing something like running that race, when it gets to race day, it's a heck of a lot easier for me. Another thing I want to talk about here is in the where it's giving us the end of the day, your biggest takeaway. I love that in the program. It kind of nails it down to what we're doing. But this is what I love. What are you proud of yourself today for? How often do we pat ourselves on the back and say, I'm really proud of myself because I did X, Y, and Z today. And it doesn't have to be something ginormous. It can be just something, maybe you struggle to get to the gym every day and you actually got to the gym and you did it. Or maybe you do go to the gym every day and you've had a goal of, I want to do 20 push-ups without stopping, and you haven't been able to get there, but you've gotten to 18 and you did just 2 more. You could be proud of yourself for that. So this is something I want you guys to do every single day, is be proud of yourself for something and acknowledge yourself for something that you've done. So I absolutely love that. Of course, so many of us are gratitude, and that goes without saying. We're good at being grateful for things, but we're not really good at being proud of ourselves for something. And so make sure that you check that off. And then here is my takeaway before I open it up to everyone: the congruency check. So I was on a coaching call myself with my friend Meredith was on the call, and she was just talking about how she would do the whole program, and then she would get to the bottom and she would talk about her congruency. So then you'd sit there, and so maybe you do it in the evening, right? And you look at it and you say, oh gosh, I'm going to give myself a 3. I didn't really show up today, and I wasn't all that great, and I didn't really do what I should do. Well, so this is what she does now. She would log in, and the first thing she would do, she might not have time to do her whole program in the morning. She'd go all the way to the bottom and she'd give herself a 5. So it reminded her all day long to show up and be her best. So even when this program is over, I want you guys to rate yourself every single day. Get up in the morning when you do your meditation, say to yourself, okay, I'm going to be a 5 today. And be a 5. Show up as your best. Don't go to the end of the day and say, oh, I kind of sucked. I was a 3. Start your day. So when you're showing up for anything, an appointment, a meeting with your kids, whatever it might be, you're a 5. So if you find yourself, maybe you're going to say the wrong thing or whatever, you have to remind yourself, oh, no, I'm a 5. That's how I decided, because it's our decision how we're going to show up. So let me find how I unshare my, stop share. Okay. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, with you. And I want to open it up for you guys. What are you proud of right now in the program? I want everyone to share some kind of victory you're having. You don't have to share your vision, but what are you proud of that you're taking away from this program? Go ahead, Brad.
One thing I've, pretty proud of myself for is, not gonna lie, this last week I kind of came across a lot of resistance. A lot of it was from, outside sources. Some of it was just more from internal sources. And I think this was 2 days ago on one of the videos. It said that when your mind starts like playing those tricks on you, and you start kind of second guessing yourself, it's like those little contesters inside that are saying like, do I really want to become, the person that I want to be? Am I really ready for that? And it starts trying to make excuses to stay in the same place that it's comfortable in. And I found myself kind of, getting in that mindset a little bit. And it's happened before in my life where I would be really hyped about something, and then stuff would just happen or stuff wouldn't happen. And I'd just be like, oh God, it sucks. And then I would kind of go back into where I started. Well, when I was coming across this resistance, I was really, and it was kind of tough, not gonna lie, but I had to utilize those, those pattern interrupts for your old habits when they come up. And it's something I became very consciously aware of. And even today, there's, getting out of bed, I was like, oh, I don't really want to get out of bed right now. I just woke up and I'm like, wait, no, like get out of bed right now, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And then it's awesome because, just becoming more aware of, what kind of tripped me up a little bit in the past, and what I didn't do to push myself out of it, to push myself forward. And it's kind of cool because it's something that I'm pretty stoked about, because it's so easy. It's the easiest thing to do is to give up when things aren't going your way. It's the hardest thing to do is to push on. And that's just one thing I always just keep in my mind is, anytime you feel discouraged, just remember why you started. And I did the thing where, you record your visions on your phone, and every morning, like when I'm driving or if I'm driving home, sometimes I'll like play it, each one like 2 times each if I have enough time. And it's crazy just how much that can totally just reframe your mind. Like you're feeling discouraged in a moment, and just suddenly you're like, yeah, like you're aligning yourself with that, and don't worry about like how you're going to get there. Just believe that it's happened, it's there. And so it's just cool how like all the little pieces that I've learned up until this point are now like actually starting to be utilized, and it kind of tests you to the core a little bit. And it's cool because you don't progress unless you're tested, which is pretty awesome, because it's not always going to be all like, yeah, everything's going great. Sometimes things aren't going to go great, but it's how you respond to it and the decisions that you make to push yourself forward and to just really hold on to your convictions. And it's something that, I'm really proud of, that I've been able to become more consciously aware of.
That's awesome, Brad. And that is so true. And what you're saying, every one of us has been there, that we have, it's so easy to quit because we want to be accepted. And so we're kind of programmed to please or fit in or whatever. And, sometimes when we're creating these visions, they're outrageous. And other people will say, well, you can't do that. And, that's too, and then we listen to that. And this is telling us that that's all kind of part of what we're going through. We're going to hear that, right? And it's powering through to as we say, to get to our identity. And I love that because you do have to experience that to know it makes sense on paper, and then you were going through it, and then I love that. I love that. Well, thank you. And it makes me, like, the whole time you were talking, I was just smiling inside. I'm like, he gets it. He gets it, so that's awesome. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Brad. Who else wants to share? Pam.
Thank you, Susan. A couple of things that I was proud of this past week is that the program has really gotten me comfortable with using affirmations daily. And I'm finding that the more that I'm using affirmations throughout my day, I'm definitely attracting what it is that I've been desiring and what I now envision my identity to be. So it's kind of really cool that I'm putting it out there and confident with the affirmation. And that's been really fun to experience. And the other area is in finances, in the finance area, is that I've really been allowing myself to dream big without thinking about the details on how I'm going to get there. I know there's plenty of details along the way, but I'm not getting bogged down with the details, and I'm enjoying dreaming big and doing the work.
That's awesome. In the two things that you said are so perfect, because when you have that big vision and you really believe that you can see yourself being there, you don't know how you're going to get there, and then the universe conspires because that's where you want to go, and then you see the signs along the way, and you'll pick up on the opportunities as they present themselves.
Right.
I was with a friend of mine was coaching with someone, and her coach told her to look for a blue chicken. And she's telling me this, and we were in Maui at the time, and she's like, a blue chicken, like what, how am I going to find a blue chicken? And literally, as we were she was just telling me, this whole story, and it's kind of like, that we don't look for things unless we know what we're looking for, right? So she thought it was kind of outrageous. Would you know, we saw a blue chicken. It wasn't a real chicken, but it was a picture on a door, and it had a little blue chicken, and she would have never seen that. Mm-hmm. So I hope that you understand how that fits in. When you have that vision, you just, she didn't know, she wasn't going to a farm, but she was just aware of a blue chicken somewhere, and she saw it. Now, had that not been planted in her head, she might have never even noticed that little picture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the affirmation part of it, I was just on a webinar, something I found on Facebook the other day. It was so cool. She was just talking about affirmations. And the thing about affirmations, you have to just really believe it. You can't say an affirmation and think like, whatever it may be, but that's not really me. You have to believe it. And I'm going to share, and Cindy's going to laugh. We've traveled together for years, and of course we're always taking photos of everything, and we take people's photos and they take ours, and I take people's iPhones, and I'll say, I am an amazing photographer. Someone will say, will you take my picture? I'm like, yes, I'm an amazing photographer. And I don't even know, like, I think I take good pictures, and but I just started saying it. And so I don't take anyone's phone without like really saying that. And I'm telling you, people are like, oh my gosh, this is the best picture. They're thanking me. And, but I say it with such conviction. And I'm writing my book now, and I can't tell you how many people that say I should illustrate it with pictures, but there won't be pictures in it. But they're like, you're an amazing photographer. I'm like, I know. So anyway, that's kind of cool. So I love those two takeaways. They're perfect. Thank you, Pam. Anybody else want to share? Okay, Jill, go ahead. We'll get to everybody real quick.
Thanks, Susan. For me this week, I think the relationship piece, even over the last 2 weeks, but really one, creating my identity in all areas, but in relationships. I don't think in the past I've really thought that through. But then I think it was Rod who, one of his videos, talked about not creating that identity for someone else within the relationship. And that just really spoke to me. And I've adjusted the way I'm speaking to my family, to my spouse with that. And then, and even taking another step and asking them to kind of asking them, explaining a bit of what we're doing, but what identity they want in our relationship. And so that I'm seeing them through those eyes. So, and they would just in the last 2 days really spoke about being moldable within that, and not only with ourselves in relationships, but with others, and allowing people to change and be ready to adjust. So that was something really new for me, but I've been very conscious of that. And it's been great with just even the conversations I've had around that.
Isn't that awesome how sometimes just a little nugget you can take away and it changes things? Because if we can change things in our own, environment, it makes us so much better to go, out there and produce and create even more. So we don't even think about that. We take all those things for granted, those closest. That's awesome. Awesome. Thank you for pointing that out, Jill. Becca, I know you don't have a dog in your lap right now, so we'll let you go next. I know the puppy wants to share.
He got bored. He hopped off my lap. No, I had posted that piece about realizing just that, I'm comfortable where I am, right? I don't have to, I always say for good or for bad, because when my father passed away, I was fortunate enough to be able to buy my condo and not have a mortgage. So I'm comfortable, right? And I realized that because I'm comfortable where I am, because I moved to the beach and I'm where I want to be, that I've been kind of settled. I know, but I've been settled in and kind of stopped wanting more. And there's still more, right? Because I'm still going into a job every day, which is not what I want to do. I want to have the flexibility to, go and visit now that my family's all up north and not down here. But I want the flexibility to help. Like when my sister had surgery, I wasn't able to go and help her when she needed somebody there. And now that all her kids are in college. So, but I just realized that I'm comfortable because that vision that I had of moving here came to fruition. I kind of sat back and relaxed for a little bit, and then now realized that there's still, I need to recast my vision. But that one video that morning with the thermostat and being comfortable, I realized that's kind of where I've been sitting for the last year.
And, a lot of us do that because, what a great vision for you to live at the beach and, all that kind of thing. And, your life has changed in the last few years. So you've gotten to where you are and it is comfortable. But then, that's the thing about visions. We're just constantly, writing new ones and upping the ante. So it's good that you realized that and you saw that video. It's great. So that's an awesome share and an awesome takeaway. The comfort zone. It's too comfortable sometimes. Thanks. Andrea.
Hi. So when Jill brought up about family and relationships, I was thinking about that too, because I feel like everyone's getting along so much nicer now. Well, not like we didn't, but it's just, I don't know, it's just more cohesive. My daughter with my husband are just like, I don't know. It's just really, maybe it's because I'm leading it, right? Because I'm sending that vibe and I'm aware of it. And my identity is getting better and changing because I'm aware of it. So of course it's sending it out to everybody else. And I like what the gentleman the other day in the video said. He's the 50-year-old who's like don't stop dreaming. And I love that we have young people doing this because, gosh, I mean, you have your whole lives ahead of you and you're already embracing this. And, I probably have in the past, but just didn't know, it wasn't something that I was like purposely going through a program to do this, but it's great. There's so much more, there's absolutely a lot more.
That's awesome. It's a great reminder. And it's like what Becca was saying too, we get to a certain age and we're comfortable, and we're just going to kind of keep going. But I think to myself, there's so much more that I want. There's so much more that I want to do. And it's just kind of casting that vision all the time. And, I think the same thing, Andrea, these young people that are kind of getting it early and being in personal development, it wasn't even a thing, when I was younger, and maybe it was a thing, but I just wasn't in the community and the culture that it was, that I was able to actually do that and live that. So I'm so passionate about, these programs. And like I say, especially this particular one, because I think it really, it gives people permission to sort of be bolder and, be creative and dream, and not just because, like Brad was saying before, so many people will just squash us and then we get stuck there, So there's so many great shares here. And we're almost at the end, and I don't want to leave Linda out. So Linda, I know you're on your iPhone and your computer and you're everywhere, but you're here. So you could, if you're going to have to unmute in one spot, doesn't matter which one. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. It's so frustrating because I feel like I'm hearing half of what's being said, and I want to hear it all. And I don't know why it says my internet's unstable every time I get on these calls. So.
Well, you know what? Cindy's going to post it, and maybe the playback, you'll be able to hear it, because I think everybody sounded okay, don't you? Yeah. So, but you're a little lagging, I can tell.
Linda, you might want to put that into your vision, that you envision a call with stable, communication and high-tech internet. I hear you, sister.
Cindy's a little unstable sometimes. Yeah, but here she is. She always pulls through. So Linda, are you having a good time with the program?
I am. I have to say, I'm getting so much more out of it this time than I did the first time. I mean, I had so many more challenges then. Plus, I was doing 2 classes at the same time, and most of the time I was in the hospital trying to do it and trying to find time for it. But I have to say, this time around, I look forward to it every day, and I kind of plan my day around it. It's not always in the morning or at night or in the afternoon, but I do have my spot that I like to go to. I light my candle. I my dog is always at my feet. And I just I make sure I have enough time to really be thoughtful about my answers, and just so I'm getting the most out of it for me. And it really wasn't, I don't know, it took me a little longer than maybe most to really feel like it was making a difference for me. I would say maybe day 15, honestly. It's only been in the last week or so that I really feel like it's making a big impact on me. Doing the, you know,
Uh-oh.
up with anything, and then um uh and then so just like you were talking about the congruency, how she would go in and put a 5 at the beginning of the day. It's kind of like that self-fulfilling prophecy. if you're setting yourself up for that 5, you're going to try and work to that 5. Whereas for me, I knew I had to come up with something I was proud of for the day. So I thought, okay, all day I'm thinking, okay, what can I make myself proud for doing? And it would push me to either, can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. I can't hear anyone right now, but it would make me push myself harder to, whether it was, you know, exercising or reading some inspirational material, you know, just a lot of the things that I put down on things that I really wanted to accomplish each day. And anyway, and then on day, I've been taking notes every day on each of the sessions, and you know, this one, inch by inch, everything's a inch, yard by yard, everything is hard. And for me, just the little baby steps each day is where I'm at right now. You know, you'd have to start where you're at, not try to do something I just can't feel good about at the end of the day.
That's perfect, Linda. And you know what? It's not a race. Everybody's doing this at their own pace. Everyone's got their own goals for, you know, their own visions, what they want from this. So it's just getting into that daily habit and understanding that we, you know, I like to say this a lot, you know, Dorothy, you've had the power all along. You know, when someone will thank me, they've lost 50 pounds and they thank me, and I haven't done it, they've done it, right? And, you know, so we're all in charge of ourselves and how we're progressing with this program and what we're taking away from it. So I'm just so glad that everyone here seems to really be benefiting. I know everybody can't get on the calls, but I get lots of messages during the week from people, and you know, everyone's getting something in their own way. So I'm so, you know, glad for you. And don't, you know, it's not a competition. Everybody gets a trophy. We're all just here doing our thing. So thank you all for getting on, and thank you, Cindy, for recording for us. And we'll put this up, so if anyone wants to watch it again. Tyler is in charge of this week, so we all kind of took a week to do our thing. And Tyler did if you didn't see it, he did a live today, and I listened to it earlier. It was so cool. He was at Grant Cardone, who I love, and the 10X Rule, Be Obsessed or Be Average. I've read some of his books, and Tyler talked a little bit about that. And so stick with Tyler this week. He'll probably come up with some stuff. I know he's traveling, but he'll be doing our last call on Sunday night. And we're going to keep this group open for you guys for a while. But I do want to remind you to remember that if you have team members, we're not necessarily doing a group like this, but we do have programs. So if you have team members, it's kind of like a virtual vision board. You know, just get in touch with us and we can hook you up with some programs. Okay? And if you're not doing the daily growth, you know, program, if you need information on it, just message one of us and we'll show you how to hook yourself up on there. Because you want to stay in the habit. You do, for sure. Okay. Everyone have a great night. Love you.